Hello, testing, testing. Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Someone comment, can you hear me? Someone comment. Yep. Okay, great. You can hear me. I'm just getting my last few preparations ready. So we have Rioja, where are we from? And we have a bottle of it, so I'll stay on for as long as the bottle lasts, which could only actually be 10 minutes, but anyway. Right, so we'll give it a few minutes and let everybody come online. We have 25, which is actually more than I expected, which is I'm a bit scared now. Anyway. This is actually the best way that you can drink on your own, because you're not actually on your own, because everyone's watching you drink it, so that's okay. Right, so how is everybody? I see Matthias is there, Madison's there. That gang's all here. So we have Finland, Canada. Where else are you from? Madison, I drank half the bottle before I came on. Come on. So as you can see, I'm in my saloon, and we have a seat back now. We have the doors starting to go on in the storage area here, and then we have Zul's here. Hi Zul, Zuli Wooly. We have California, Croatia. I was actually in Croatia in September, and with Neve, Dubrovnik. Birmingham, yeah, I've been there plenty times. Whitehaven. Where's Whitehaven again? That's up in the northwest, is it? Of the UK? Shropshire, that's where my family are from. Bath, yep, I've got family there too. Jeez, the gang's all here. Right. Now, I know that it's south of France. What's it like in France at the moment? I know that things are on a bit of a lockdown all over the place, but I think France is getting a bit of a northwest coast. I was right. That's the job. Oh, Paul, yeah, I know that guy. What was I talking about? I don't know. So the whole purpose, okay, so we've got 43 on now. So the whole purpose of this live stream is to try and have a bit of fun. The news at the moment is a bit of a disaster. Yeah, the news is really depressing at the moment, and for a good reason. Things are frightening at the moment. So I want to try and have a bit of fun. Crack, as the Irish call it. Yeah, so I want you to basically. I'm gonna try and keep up with the chats, but ask as many questions as you can, and I'll answer all of them as I go through. You might give me every few minutes of quiet just so I can read through, because I need to catch up on the texts. But it's probably lunchtime in a lot of places. It's 8 p.m. here, and it's probably lunchtime in a lot of other places. But if you want to crack a beer or a bottle of wine or something and join in, and we'll have a chat, and you can ask me whatever you want. So, right, let's get started on some of the questions. Already seen some. Thanks for all the comments about the woodwork. I actually, I'm going to turn it around without trying to knock something over. But I spent today oiling this side and the berth rail there as well. So you see that the starboard side has been oiled. So the plan with that is then once the oil is dried, I'll put on maybe 6 coats of varnish. Sorry, my charge just come out. I put on about 6 coats of varnish, and that should then see me through for a considerable amount of time, which is awesome. It's cool to see all that woodwork come together. Right, questions. There is one question here I missed. Hang on a minute. Oh yeah, Project Binky, yeah, that's class. if you want to learn how to do cardboard aided design, then Binky are the guys to talk to. Canada is in a state of emergency. I think most of Europe are the same. Borders are starting to close down. I think that the US is stopping people coming in from Europe, and then there's France, Spain, Denmark, Finland. I think they're all shut down. So I'd say we're not far behind them. Good white wine, fair, yeah. Okay, best place to buy LED cabin lights. Oh no, sorry, there's another question. Anyone you know think what you're doing is nuts? Most of the people that I know thought when I started that it was completely bonkers, and it was. If you look back at like 2 years ago when we bought the boat, and this was a bare shell, and like I'd love to go back and actually have a discussion with myself and go, what's going through your head? Like, what do you actually see? And to be fair, everything that's in my head has happened so far. It's taken longer and cost more than I thought, which, look, that's the way boats are. But yeah, like, I don't know what I was thinking. But anyway, yeah, how do I deal with them? I don't. I just ignore it. Most people come around in the end. When I started living in the van first, that was probably a harder sell because it was a Transit Connect and I couldn't even sit up. I genuinely don't know. I don't even know why Neve puts up with me, to be honest. So hopefully that answered that question. Philip Galvin, where's the best place to build LED cabin lights? So I have a link on Amazon. I don't know how to. Okay, Philip, I'll write that one down and I will send that to you somehow. Tell you what, if you go on Amazon and you type, I think it's Dreamlights LEDs. Let me turn this one off. Maybe you can see it. So you can see that it's like a plastic surround and it's LED, takes 12 volts. And the cool thing about those, I won't turn it on because it'll blind you. You can actually dim these, so you can actually change the brightness, which is really cool. Turn that back on. So hopefully that answers your question, Philip. If you want the link, shoot me a mail on Instagram. How many people can you take on your boat when we all need to escape society? I had one of my mates. We had a 30th birthday party on board last year during the summer, and we had 12, and that's too many. We had 12 inside the boat because it started raining, and yeah, that was too many. But it was a lot of fun. Am I living on Zara? Yeah, I'm living on Zara at the moment, full time. So I moved off for the winter. I was doing a welding course down near where my brother lives, so I lived with him. Thanks, Phil. And to be honest, like the weather was so bad and everything, and there was work. The joiner was doing work in here, and every time I came home, it was too dusty and stuff. So I just decided to give it like 2 months, and then I moved back on 8 weeks ago when I got the heating going. Actually, for anyone who asks a question about how cold is it ever cold on the boat, it's 22 degrees in here at the moment, Celsius, and I'm sweating actually. Yeah, Madison, open the whiskey. Doesn't matter. What is it there in Canada? It's 2 p.m. in Canada, isn't it? Yeah, I won't judge you. It's Paddy's Day. We're meant to do that. Lost my place. Sorry if I miss your questions. I apologize if I miss your questions. Thanks, Rupert. Appreciate that, man. What's my future plans? Well, we were hoping that by June, this is from It's Me, Dave. We were hoping by June of 2020, originally. That was the original, okay, June 2020, 2.5 years to fit out the boat, get it all ready and stuff like that. But probably a little bit over optimistic, which is fine. Look, that's the way it goes. We are hoping now to leave in June of 2021. That was before COVID-19 thing started blowing up, and I foresee that slowing things down. The world is coming to a bit of a stop. The economy is kind of taking a bit of a dive. So I would, at the moment, in order to not get too stressed, I'm going to just see what happens. I'm going to work as hard as I've always worked. Keep working as hard as I can. and take it week by week. But in the back of my head, I have June 21. But look, let's just say a year, and then if it's in a year, we'll say another year. A big dirty bag of cans. I have a big dirty bag of. I've got rum and wine in there, so I should be all right for a lockdown. Yeah. Where's the dirty bag of cans? Where's the unlimited mercenary from? Where are you from? You're obviously a Mayo man, yeah? Finland is shutting down. Good question. Is there anything that I've done that I wish I had done differently? It's a good question. Like, every time I do something, every time I make something, I think of a different way of doing it. It's a good question, and I don't know. Like, as I go along, I think, okay, maybe I could have done that bit of framing differently, or that bit of framing differently. I might have, for the sake of my own head, actually, I might have forgotten about the deadline. I might have done it based on just day by day. And I'm kind of learning how to do that now. But I think that's probably the main thing I would have done differently. I don't regret doing the project. I'm not sure I'd do it again. But in 5 years' time, you forget how painful something is, and you don't go again. Coming to Australia in the plans. It's not off the plans. I'd love to go to Australia and New Zealand. They're on the list. Not in the immediate future. We're looking at going into the Med first and see how we get on, because we'll be like closer to home and closer to being able to work and stuff like that. But yeah, we'll see. So Matthias, the LED on the LEDs. So you saw there when I turned it off that the button was glowing. It's actually glow in the dark, so it's green, and after an hour it goes away. So it only stays on just after you've turned off the light. I'll show you again for anybody who missed that. So you can see there that that's actually glowing in the dark. It's not powered by anything, so it doesn't draw any energy at all. And I think that these lights, I've got 6 of them on right now, and they draw, I think, 0.8 of an amp all on at the same time. And if you turn them down, they draw way less. And to be honest, most of the time I only have these on like at night, or like if I'm doing something in the galley, like making dinner and stuff, and coming back and forth, I leave them on. But if I'm going into relax mode, I just turn them all the way down. Right. Neve love her. She is fantastic, and you will meet her at some point, Addison. For anyone who hasn't seen my Instagram, did we put it on Instagram? If we hadn't, I'm going to. We had Madison over last summer, and she does mermaiding, so we had a mermaid on the boat, and it was the best day ever. Would you have bought better for the project? Would I have bought? So basically, someone's asked me there, Apex Junkie, would I have bought a better boat for the same money? So if you hadn't seen the video of how much it's cost, the project's cost me 37,000 euros, and I think by the end of it, I'd probably pay 50 to 60,000, and I'll have the boat finished. I don't think there's any way at all that I would have had a boat as good as this for 60 grand, because she's basically new. Like, if you look in the cabinets of a 30-year-old boat, you'll see some horrible stuff, like things that people have done over the years, or people that have had a go themselves. Yeah, I don't think I would have got a better boat for 60 grand. I just don't think it would have been possible. Maybe there's bargains out there, especially over in the Caribbean. Apparently, you can get all sorts of stuff, and the UK is probably some good boats. But the problem with steel is, if you buy a steel boat and it's fitted out, you can't see the condition of the steel. You don't know how the steel was originally painted. You don't know how the steel was originally looked after. So, like, a steel boat, unless you can see the steel before you do it, is always going to be a risk. But now, like, condensation is the biggest killer of boats or steel boats. And I've only got a few spots where the insulation is sweating because it's too thin on the steel, but that's only where there's supportless, like, structural members. Like you can see here, there's a knee here, and that does drip a little bit, but I can figure something out to fix that. That's not a big deal. So I don't know. I don't think I would have bought a better boat. I definitely wouldn't have the knowledge that I have now. There's absolutely no way that I would have had that knowledge. Like, You can't buy that. The stuff that I know now that I would have not have known 2 years ago, not a hope. Paul, how you doing? How are things over? I think you said you were in the Caribbean. Maybe I've got that name mixed up. Sorry if I have. Let me see. Yeah, Madison, doesn't matter. It's 4 o'clock. I forgot about. Yeah, I made a mistake on time. It's 4 o'clock in Canada. That's of course you should be drinking. There's no problem. Absolutely no problem. I won't judge you anyway. How old was the hull? Oh, hang on, let me see. Nice shirt. Yeah, I like this shirt. Hang on. If you see it, members all around the globe. Flat Earth Society. The Earth is flat, by the way. If you didn't know, that's why I'm doing this project, so I can sail to the ice wall and show everybody. Sorry if I just lost 1,000 subscribers. Why didn't I buy a wooden boat? Because I hate suffering. No, wooden boats. Just I'm just not good with timber. I don't understand it. Like I keep making mistakes. If I touch wood, it just isn't good. Like I can easily make up a frame out of pine 2x2 that's already been machined. But that's about the extent of my woodworking skills. That's why we got the joiner in. Like, look at these doors. It's like all this stuff that he's making. Hang on, we've got one here I can show you some more detail on. So you can see like all of the. It hasn't been even this hasn't been sanded, so it's going to be a little bit grubby. But like you can see how good that is. Like and he's even left this little nib here for the latch. You can see the latches there. There we go. The latches that hold the doors closed. So yeah, you can't learn that in a year. This guy's been at it for a long time, and it would have been embarrassing for me to even try. When will you be done? Yes, I will be done. How old? Okay, how old is the hull? The hull was in 1984. So the boat's registered now in Ireland. It's got its Irish books. By the way, if you're wondering why I only have one ear on my headphones, don't know why, but I've always had this thing where if I put both headphones on, I feel like I don't know. I feel really confused or something. So yeah, I had to do that. Right, I'll do this instead. It looks better. How old was the hull when you got it? It was 1984, I think. So we registered it as a 1984 boat in Ireland, originally in Jersey, and then we re-registered it in Ireland. It's just the way the paperwork went. She's 1984, and then I think it was 1998 when she was damaged by fire, and then she was written off by insurance, and then someone in Baltimore bought her and left her in a shed, and she rotted. Just the whole thing rotted. So then the guy I bought it off, Nick, he replaced the decks. He plated any areas of the hull that were bad. He opened up the keel and checked all that. The keel tanks. Re-engined her. She didn't have an engine, so it was new shaft and everything. So he did all of the running gear engineering, which was awesome. And then he put a rig on it. And then I did the running rigging on the sailing stuff. So what are some challenges you face working on a steel hull? The problem with a steel boat is you kind of have to know how to weld, and it's pretty dirty. I think fiberglass is probably a lot easier to repair. So there's a common misconception that steel boats are really easy to repair, because you can get the way I built it, the way 99% of steel boats are built, you can access the below the waterline metal. I've designed it in a way that I can access below the waterline metal. But anything above the waterline is going to have cabinetry that needs to be taken out to repair the steel. No matter what you do with a boat, and if the hull gets damaged, you're going to have to take the cabinetry out. All the interior lining, all the insulation has to come out. And yeah, if that happens and I have to take the spray foam out and everything like that, then pretty goosed. But you'd have to do that with fiberglass anyway. For me, steel is easier because I know how to do it. But fiberglass is probably easier in general. If I learned how to do it, it's probably easier in general. You can repair fiberglass just as well as you can repair steel. The thing about steel is you don't have to repair it as often if you hit something hard. I've hit the marina quite a few times because I'm only learning. yeah. And I think that if I had a fiberglass goat, I probably would have hauled it by now. I'm pretty sure that the coronavirus isn't a bioweapon. Pretty sure that's not the case. Limerick. Some good lads up in Limerick. I know some great lads up in Limerick. All mad for cans. Owen, my brother, is there. Owen Walters, my brother. Just calling him out there so that he gets embarrassed a little bit, hopefully. Is that my real hair? Yeah, it's my real hair. My real hair. My mother's here. Hi, Mum. I actually got to say hi, Mum, on a live stream. Who gets to say that? I think everyone that's on is basically my family and friends. Thanks so much. Surprised my sister isn't here, actually, throwing me abuse. Am I concerned about sailing off the edge? Dan, if I sail off the edge, you're coming with me. Alex, am I going to be on the dry this summer? I think that's Alex Musgrave. Mr. Musgrave, how you doing? I think that's Alex Musgrave. Am I going to be on the dry this summer? Plan was, so what is it, the 17th of March. So the plan was to move the boat to Crosshaven, which is, it's like a big harbour. It's just inside Cork Harbour. It's a lot kind of more, it's more suitable to leaving a boat on the hard than the Kinsale boatyard would be. So I'm going over to Crosshaven in 2 weeks if we're allowed to, and then we are hauling out for the summer. We have seacocks to do. I've got to finish the heads. I've got to finish the forward cabin. The heads is probably only 20% of the way there. Forward cabin is pretty much 0% of the way there. And then finish the engine work. I want to take the engine out, which honestly, the engine is probably the thing I'm looking forward to doing the most, because it's the thing I'm the most used to doing, is engine stuff. So the engine's got to come out. So having it on the hard makes more sense. Trying to pull an engine when the boat's rocking around the place probably won't be very fun. Yeah, so I'm hoping, but it could be that like we might end up stranded here. I don't know. Just don't know. Like if the boatyard is closed for the month of April and May, then you know we just don't know what's going to happen. But plan is, if COVID-19 didn't exist, 2 weeks time we'd be out in the water sailing. The wine is Rioja. For Richie, Mr. Cunningham. Rioja. It's Aldi or Lidl. They're both the same, aren't they? Come on, for God's sake, nearly swore that. They're both the same. Lidl and Aldi, fight me. So yeah, it's Lidl €7 wine. To be honest, I don't know what anybody else thinks about wine, but after the first glass, it all tastes the same to me. Someone, I said that to someone in a restaurant once. They got really, really upset. It was the best. Am I bringing climbing stuff for the ice wall? I'm hoping that we'll just fall off the edge, actually, Dan. That's why I'm putting wings on the boat. That's the plan. Paul, I appreciate the comment on the cabinets. I completely agree that getting somebody who knows what they're doing to do that stuff was just the best. I think the best decision I've made on the project. Like, you know, you are relying on somebody else to do the work, and that's fine. But the work is just, I couldn't do that work. Maybe I could in time if I had the workshop and some time to learn how to do it. But there is no way that I would have learned how to do this in the time that it was done. Like, I think it was September we started, and then we put a halt in December, January, February, and now. So we haven't done any real joinery for about 4 months because the weather here was awful for the whole of the winter. I couldn't do anything. I actually did nothing over the winter. Like, I just holed up in my brother's house and hid. Do you think the ice wall will be like the one in the Game of Thrones? It's hard to tell. The one in the Game of Thrones was pretty big. I don't know if what is it? What's the Discworld? I'm a firm believer that Discworld is actually the Bible. Yeah. If you haven't read Discworld, read Discworld. If you, I think there's like 30 something books, and it's bananas. It's all about the ice wall and it's like Discworld and Game of Thrones are basically like the history of the flat Earth, I think. Right, I'm still working my way through. I think I'm probably way behind. Let me see. Dan and Richie made comments, but they were retracted. Dan and Richie. I did say keep this safe for work. More MX5 content. Patrick, absolutely agree. For anyone who doesn't know, I have a little MX5 that I've had for about 10 years. Just a little, it's a Miata for the guys in the States and Canada, I think. It's a little 1.6 car that I've pumped all my money into when I was younger, before the boat. And yeah, it's basically my pre-boat project. And we were planning to drive it to Germany this summer as some time off. I've got something in my eye. I had some time off, but that didn't work out. Well, the ferry's booked for the end of May. It's anyone's guess what's going to happen between now and then, so I'm just hoping that it happens. What's the design of my boat? So she is designed by Dick Copeman. She was, according to, so I was speaking to people who've had boats like this, and they were built by Dick Klein over in Holland in the early 80s. He made all of the Copeman boats. He was based in Holland somewhere. And they've got a really, really good reputation for heavy weather sailing. This boat wouldn't right now because she's still like, she's not set up at all, and the rig is, we still need to sort out the sails. We're looking at shortening the boom, we're shortening the rig. We aren't sure, sorry, oh, this wine, wake me up. We're not sure what we're going to do with the rig just yet. But yeah, it's not, I'm not sure. Like, anytime we've sailed her, she's gone down to her first chine and just stuck there. And she's been fantastic. So Derek, good to see you. How was the parade at home? We're not going to make it out of the country this year on the World Cruise. I was talking about that a little while ago. We're looking at 2021, June 2021, if we can finish the boat by then. But there's too much uncertainty around everything at the moment. So, like, if the place goes into lockdown for 8 weeks and I can't get materials or work, so that could put us behind by a lot longer than 2 months. So yeah, playing it by ear at the moment. Like, the way we have it set up, I'll just show anybody who has just joined. The way it's set up at the moment, we've got cabinets in the saloon. The galley is, let's see if I can bring you over to the galley. Oh, nearly dropped the wine. The way the galley is at the moment, I haven't done the washing up, sorry Neve. Like, we have drawers and we have cabinets, and I'm stocked for see the latches there now and the hinges, stocked for doomsday stuff. We've got loads of food to last us for ages, so yeah. Forgotten what I was talking about. Oh yeah, so yeah, the boat is coming together, and I'm just happy that that's happening. And if we get off sailing in the next year or two, to be honest, at that stage, I'm just thinking that would be a bonus at this stage, but we'll see. So yeah, are you worried about Leo commandeering a boat for himself to be safe during the coronavirus? Leo Varadkar, yeah, he's been on to me a couple of times, Dan. Leo Varadkar is our Taoiseach, which is our Prime Minister. He's been on to me a few times, Dan. Will I sail away with him? I told him I don't really want to. Sorry about that, Leo. Get your own boat. Got enough money. Matthias, I bet Corona changes cruising plans. I think at the moment there are. I'm part of a club called the Ocean Cruising Club, and it's cool. It's a cool club for anyone who's like wants to get into a bit of sailing. You can join in like 2 different ways. You can be an associate member if you haven't done your sea miles, and then like progress into your full membership. So they keep us up to date. They keep us up to date with, you know, the different things that are going on across the world, especially down in the Caribbean at the moment. A lot of cruises are having a bit of trouble because everywhere is just closed. The ports have just closed. No one's going to work down there and stuff. Like, they've had like, these islands are such a small community that they're really worried about a severe outbreak, so they've just shut everything down. Yeah, so yeah, I think that coronavirus is gonna affect a lot of people's cruising plans. Richie, I am on the boat. This is not a green screen. Is it a shed? It's basically a shed, isn't it? So let's all level here. We all want to have like some kind of boat or shed, so we got somewhere to hang out. This is basically a floating shed, and I'm cool with that. It's got sails and stuff, so it's a boat. Greetings from Romania. I have some cool friends, some good friends in Romania. The guy who painted my car, Alex, Mr. Bodie, painted my car. He's from Romania, and he's gone home to Romania, and it's somewhere that I really want to visit because it's supposed to be absolutely unreal. 2 questions. First, did you have any sailing courses? Okay, so I have a bit of a interesting sailing thing. You know, I didn't grow into it from as a child. When I was about 18 or 9, was it 19? I met this crazy guy called Errol, and I don't think he's on, but anyway, Errol introduced me to sailing on his Van der Stat. So his dad built a Van der Stat in the 90s when he was a kid, and he grew up. I think he was sailing as soon as he could stand up. He was sailing on his own, like phenomenal amount of experience. And he took me out a couple of times and some friends on his boat, which was very, very similar to Zara. And I always wanted to steal a boat after that. And then I got hooked. He took me out a couple of times on lasers and he taught me how to sail. And then I kind of went out of it for maybe 2 or 3 years. And then Errol invited me on a couple of sailing trips because he's on a cruise at the moment. He's cruising at the moment. And he took me on a trip down through in Portugal, and then I joined them in the Canaries and did an Atlantic crossing with them. So, like, I have a lot of smaller trips and then one big trip. And like, what's wrong with my headphones, Matthew? There's nothing wrong with my headphones. It's me. I'm the problem. I was saying earlier that if I have my headphones on the whole way, my voice starts doing weird things and I feel confused. So I have to wear it on. There was another question, sailing courses, and did you start something with a dinghy? No, I didn't. I've actually read a few places. What was his name again? Can't remember the writer that wrote it. See if I have the book. Stay with me. So this book here, Eric Hiscock, Cruising Under Sail, and there's a chapter in here about starting sailing, and he recommends that you start on a keel boat. The reason being is you will basically stay on the boat at all times. Like, the boat can't capsize. Well, it can if the keel falls off, but like you can't capsize the boat, so it can't knock your confidence. If I'd started on dinghies, I don't think I would have got into sailing because I hate it sounds so stupid. I hate being in the water. I know that doesn't make any sense, but Neve is pushing me to actually go sailing or to go swimming properly more often. And this last summer I swam a lot and I really enjoyed it. But up till like last year and Neve throwing me overboard and making me swim, I just didn't like the water very much. So I hope that answers your question, Greg. From Sweden, I love Sweden. I absolutely love Sweden. I've been to Gothenburg a few times with work. Brilliant, loved it. Hey Tim, how you doing? Washington. When you had the earpiece for the mic wasn't rubbing against your shirt. Less rubbing sounds. Oh, sugar. Sorry, if there's rubbing sounds, let me know. My bad. Sorry about that. Megan, my sister is here. I told you, everyone. My sister would come here and support her brother because she thinks I'm an idiot. And Neve is here as well. My girlfriend actually came and was watching her boyfriend make a fool of herself in front of 89 people at the moment. It's a lot more than I expected. I'm kind of regretting this now. Oh yeah, Lady Africa, another great sailing channel. They're actually off sailing now, so they spent a year, must have been 2 years. They were refitting their catamaran, and they did a really, really damn good job. They stripped her down as far as Zara was, re-engined. They actually did a lot more work than I had to do, and they're doing it full time. So they're finished and they're off sailing now, having a great time. You see the pictures of them fishing and swimming and 95. See if we can get 100 people. did not think I'd get 100 people. My brother is sitting in his underwear on his own while the baby's gone to bed. I have a little nephew now, and he's a little dote. He's about this big. I'm a wine philistine. Well, like I like Rioja because it doesn't give me too much of a hangover. I had Crianto. Oh, what was it? What did I have the other day? I don't even know what I had. I had a bottle of Rioja and then I had a bottle of something else. And I woke up at 4 o'clock in the morning, just getting sick everywhere. It was horrible. Frantic. So Matthew Beecher, who is in the chats there somewhere, now owns Frantic. And yeah, Matt, why don't you just give us a detailed write up of how Frantic is going? Matt's actually, I think, training for the Olympics now. So the owner of Frantic is now training for the Olympics. So it's in good hands, basically. It might be a couple of years before we see her out, but he'll get there. Matthew, my head is not wonky. You're wonky. I've missed a few here now. Oh yeah, okay, we're back on course. Have I built the main hatch cover? Tim, if you mean the sliding hatch in the companionway, we haven't touched it yet because at the moment it's kind of big enough that I can fit 3.5 feet of wood down it. So if it's 3.5 feet, it will go down the hatch or the companionway. So if I put the sliding hatch in and everything, that's going to bring it way down. So yeah, at the moment I'm deferring that. Thanks, John. I appreciate that. His dad is on. See, it's all my family here support me. It's great. Paul, you'd be more than welcome to come up and give us a help with the engine refurb. I reckon with the engine, I'm actually like the engine starts. I ran it today for an hour, and the engine starts like first pick of the key and off it goes, and it's absolutely perfect. Stays perfectly cool, no issues at all. Considering that engine was underwater for 3 days. When the boat that the engine used to live in sank, they took the rig and the engine and a few tanks and all of the other good stuff and rinsed it all down with fresh water, and it was fine. The engine is just perfect, absolutely fine. So I'd say with the engine, I'm probably going to take it out, clean it, paint it, do the sound ending in the engine room, and get all the fuel lines because the tank is under the engine. So what we're planning to do is create like an access hatch into the top of the tank and have all of the services coming off that near the front of the engine. And then, it's not ideal. Having a keel tank isn't ideal because you can't get into it. But to be honest, like if it's really bad, I'll take the engine out again and just go in and clean it. Like taking the engine out is not a big deal. It's probably take me an hour to pull that engine out with a block and tackle over the companionway because the engine can come up and forward and down, and it's actually incredibly easy to take out. It's just like probably 20 bolts and it can come out. Let me see what else. I need to catch up a bit. My mother has a habit of owning me in public. Thanks very much, Mother. What anti-foul did I use? We used Jotun C4. Was it C460 or C430? It's supposed to last 30 months, and it's been on there for a year and a half. About a year and a half, and we've only washed it once, and it looks pretty good. We had a bad stage last summer where the barnacles just for some reason just exploded on it, and one of the lads dived down when we were on a mooring and scraped them off for me, so it wasn't such a big deal. Oliver Medic. Thanks a lot, man. That's a really nice comment. I appreciate it a lot. I'm sure I'll make it over to Southampton at some point. We're hoping to, because Niamh lives up in Wicklow, so we're hoping to bring the boat up to Greystones at some point and spend a month there and stuff. Because I'd like to move the boat up and down a little bit, and then we're hoping to go over to Wales and south from there. We'll see. Just got to go with it. Dougie's here. How you doing, man? 2021 is going to be a good year, Doug. I think we'll all be out in the water by then. Seeker is looking absolutely unreal. The heads have come together very well. I like the way you did the fiberglassing on the heads. That's actually what I'm doing as well. So I'm glad to see that it's the right thing to do. What's the plan for the area around the port lights that just foam? If you mean, I can't really see it now. Tim, if you mean like around, how do I? Oh yeah. Oh god, this drink is starting to get to me. You know what I mean. Anyway, if you mean around the foam, there we actually have teak surrounds made already. They just need to be fitted because I want to do those towards the end because I still need to bolt the windows in properly. They're only glued in at the moment, but the sealant is incredibly strong, so we should be okay. I am living on board. Kaizu? It's a cool name. I think I've seen you on Facebook, Kaizu. Yeah, I am living on board. We now that we have storage, like we have lockers and stuff, all my clothes are actually stored in here. So I have clothes and wine and rum. So from there over, I'm fine. And then in the saloon and under the bunks, like I'm actually going to show you what food I have. So yeah, there's a locker full of food there. You can actually see the tinfoil stuff there, so like reflex stuff. That's to stop the government from spying on me from submarines. Anyway, Derek, yeah, I'll be over in Crosshaven hopefully soon. You'll have to come and visit. Brendan, am I installing much solar? I was actually thinking this week that the only thing really stopping us from being on a mooring if we really needed to be was actually solar. So I'm hoping to have 300 watts of solar, two 150 watt panels on the push pits. That's the initial plan. And I think that because we're going to have, I'm looking at having 4 60 amp hour lithium batteries. So that should give us plenty of power, and then 300 watts of solar and probably a wind generator keeping those topped up, because our energy usage can actually be very, very low if we want it to be. Like the lights use literally less than an amp to light the whole boat. Things like a fridge freezer that we'll have will probably pull, like apparently the fridge freezers, their initial like amp draw will be 2 or 3 amps each, and then when they get to their temperature that they need to be, they pull like way less than an amp. So hoping that that is gonna do our energy needs. Like we have a really good solar charge controller and solar charge controller and a really good battery charger. So I'm hoping that'll do it. Neil, stop give it out to me. I am having fun. Just don't smile. You know me. I don't smile. Mentioning shortening the boom. What's wrong with the longer boom? So Aaron is asking me about shortening the boom. So there's a guy over in Wales at the moment, Stephen Harks. He's helping me out with some of the sail stuff. And his recommendation is to shorten the boom because we can make a taller, narrower sail. It will bring the center of effort of the sail down, which will keep us from heeling too much. Because for anyone who's been watching will know that the rig on this boat is off a 43-footer. It's about 2.5 odd meters too long. It's quite a long rig. So my fear is that there's too much power in the sails, and I know you can just refit, but I'd rather be able to, like the boom is huge. The boom nearly is like this far off the backstay, so it does need to become a bit shorter. I'm hoping that by this time, well, maybe in about 6 to 8 months, if things don't really go belly up, we'll have a proper like discussion about the rig, and we'll have a full plan done. But I'm hoping that shortening the boom should bring that center of effort down. And Dodger, yeah, we'll have a spray hood or a Dodger, depending on where in the world you are. We'll have a spray hood. Originally, I was thinking of making an aluminium or a steel one, but I think that I'd like to have a cloth one because it'll be strong enough. We're not going to the Southern Ocean anytime soon, so it'll be strong enough and it can be folded down. The big thing about having it folded down is when we're coming into a marina or going onto a mooring or anything that we need to maneuver, we'll be able to see where we're going, basically. All right. I know, Paul. I know. I will. I promise you, I'll learn freedive. I promise Niamh I'll learn how to freedive. So, Kilkenny. I love Kilkenny. Kilkenny's up there with my one of my favorite places in the country. Every time I go up there, I have good crack. It's spring. but you wouldn't believe that it is. It's constantly cold and miserable. I really want to sail around Ireland, but because we're based here and we live here, I'm in no rush to do it. We'll do it at some point, but absolutely, we will be sailing around this country because, like, all along the south coast, people come from all over the world to sail on the south coast of Ireland, and we're looking at leaving. Like, it's kind of crazy, but yeah, it's one of the nicest places in the world to sail. How are we looking? When I have a chance to watch a channel, what am I watching? Great question. So I have YouTube running as often as I can in the evenings. Even when I'm working away, I might not watch it from like absolutely start to finish, but I'll watch most of the stuff. Like I watch SV Seeker, I watch Leo, and I watch Acorn to Arabella and the lads. But I also watch, you might know of Bruce on Sailing Mistress. That's a really good channel to watch. He started off with nothing. Like he laid the keel on his. Took a big break, I think, for a few years while building funds, and now he's at it full time. So he's doing a fantastic job. You should see the cabin soul he did. There's Lady Africa. I watch Lady Africa sometimes too. Who am I else? I think I'm definitely missing loads. I'll come back to that one because there's like I could go through my subscription list. Oh, Travels with Geordie. That's another great one. I've learned so much off Peter. Peter's an amazing craftsman. Like the stuff he's doing is fantastic. Megan called my little sister called me cutie pie. Little sisters are underrated. MR2, good call. The guy I'm sharing a shed with has an MR2. Very nice car. Need anything designed for 3D printing? I'm good. I'm coincidentally I'm pretty into 3D printing. But if I do, I would know who to go to. But I'm pretty well placed with 3D CAD. I'm an engineer and stuff, so you'd think that I know how to do it, but I'll probably come to you at some point. Thanks, Runa. Boat is I like this boat. Very happy with her. They say that walking away, like it's like same with a car, or maybe it's like the same with a house, but when you're walking away and you can't help but look back, then I think you've picked the right one. I think that's probably a fair thing to say. Tyus, thanks for the moolah. I appreciate that. I'll buy myself a beer. I'll probably any funds that come through this video are going to go straight to the WHO for the COVID-19 stuff. Yeah, so that's my plan. Fairweather Sailors. I know these guys are up the country. I saw on Instagram today that they are anti-fouling, so it's another channel to check out. Fairweather Sailors. There's DVS Era as well. David Van Staten. He's doing another boat up there at the country. An Irish fella as well. Oh, right. Why steel? I've always had an affliction with steel boats. I love the idea that they're so strong. Like we lent the boat on a wall about a year ago to clean the anti-fouling, check the propeller, and replace an anode on the propeller. And I just was super confident that the boat was just going to lean on the wall and nothing was going to happen. I just feel better in a boat that I know is going to take a battering before it sinks. One would hope. I know how fiberglass is incredibly strong. Like there are some boats that are built with, like the older stuff is built with 2 or 3 inches thick. It's incredibly strong stuff. So they're just as strong as steel in my, to be honest. But some of the newer production boats I think might be a little bit thinner. But yeah, I don't know. I just like the weight. Like another really big thing actually with steel is usually you spray foam them. So usually they're very well insulated and they're really warm. Like I turned the heating off an hour, and how long? We've been online for an hour now, or 45 minutes. It's been an hour and a half since I turned the heating off, and it's still 19 degrees in here. So like that's a pretty good testament to the insulation. So that's one of the huge benefits of steel: strength, and they're really, really quite warm and safe. We won't get to Greystones this summer. It'll probably be next year. I'm going to skip through a few. When are we going to sort out a proper ladder set of steps in the companionway? So as you can see, we have that ladder there. I didn't want to. That's probably one of the last jobs because like I'm coming up and down that all the time, and I don't want it to get wrecked if it's like a nice teak companionway ladder. So I'm using that. And that's probably been in that position for about 7 years, I would say, probably longer. And it's doing fine, perfectly strong. It slips sometimes, so I screwed it in. It's so dodgy, but yeah, it works fine. So I'm not. Oh, 101. We got 101 people. That's nearly the most people I've ever spoken to in one go. Most people I've ever spoken to in one go is like 150 people, and that was a presentation. Right. The Irish government doesn't have any submarines that they want us to know about. Think about that one for a while. Oh yeah, Madison's looking at West Sails. Madison wants to buy a boat, which is a good idea. Everyone should buy a boat. Everyone. 98, we lost 3 people. We were submarine giant electric risk and steel boats. It's one of my biggest fears, actually. It's one of the things I think about quite a lot. Massive electromagnets. But I have a plan for that. It involves sharks and lasers. Oh no, I missed my spot again. There we go. An Irishman did invent the submarine. And it sank. Oh god. Hey Wim, how you doing, man? 300 watts of solar. Maybe I will want more. But like we are really planning to, like, we're gonna have a wind vane as well. So we're really 300 watts. I think should be enough. Like, it's like living here and now as I am. I use very little energy anyway. So obviously I'm using my 240 volt power tools, but they're all plugged into the marina. Anything other than that, I'm using gas to burn. Like, the heating uses a lot of energy, to be fair. And when I've got a fridge and a freezer running off the batteries, then probably maybe 300 watts of solar will be a little bit too little. I'm not sure, but yeah, check out Sailing Exodus, another good channel to watch. Mr. Will you speak to your prime charging source? So we'll have solar. I think solar is going to be my prime charging source. I haven't fully mapped that out, but we will, because of where we live, there's not a lot of sun. So we'll probably have a wind vane and solar and see how that goes. But I don't want to have the boat like overloaded with too much electronics anyway. Like, one of the biggest things that I'm working on offline at the moment, I haven't showed anyone yet, is a chart plotter that we're building based on OpenPlotter. So if anybody's into kind of like electronics and stuff, they'll know about the Raspberry Pi. So I have a Raspberry Pi with it's got like a shield or like hardware that you connect onto it, and which can do GPS, it can do AIS receiving, it can do all of the good stuff like that, barometric pressure and things like that. So I'm working with Madison at the moment. We're making a chart plotter based on that, which will use less than an amp. So that will run all of my navigation. And then we'll have a tablet that will run the rest of our navigation that's charged off a 12 volt socket, which will be used probably, I can't see it using more than a couple of amps a day. So I don't see us using a lot of energy. But look, it's kind of open to, like, you can plan and plan and plan, but until you actually go out and do it, you won't know if it's going to work properly. Like doing what I do, I always plan stuff anyway, right? But 90% of the time, it's when you try it and actually do it, it just gets thrown out the window and you have to go again. Make the boat longer. Yeah, I have seen people cut the middle out of a steel boat and add feet, but I think that's it's so crazy. Bruce is a good dude. I think everyone needs to go and check out Bruce. What sailing movies? That's a great question. If you haven't seen Sailing, is it Sailing Bubbles or Chasing Bubbles? if you haven't seen Chasing Bubbles, you've missed something huge. Just go and watch Chasing Bubbles. Even if you have to leave the live stream now, go and watch Chasing Bubbles, and it will ruin your life. It's so damn good. Chris Shoes. I'm not a sailor. But youngster living on us. Yeah, I'd like a house one day, at some point, but this was in my system, and I needed to get it out of my system before I went and bought a house or anything like that. So, yeah, living on a boat is great. I really enjoy it. I'm not sure what it'd be like with a family. There's a family living on the marina, but they seem perfectly happy. I know that there's a couple on Instagram I follow called Nautical Tripping, Mike and Jess. They have 2 kids, and they live on a Van der Stat Seal, which is 36 feet. Perfectly happy. Those kids are having a great upbringing. So I would say that living on a boat is an option for anybody. Eric Andera, yeah, I think I said that right. He's another sailor in Norway, and he's a bit crazy actually. He's got a Nicholson 35, I think it is, or a Contessa. It's a Contessa actually called Tessie, and he sails in the North Sea, and he goes out in anything. He's a great guy to watch. Just gonna. Is anybody else drinking, or is it just me on my own? That'd be really sad. I think my sister left. Let me see what else. Kilmore Key, it's on the list, absolutely. Tom Miller, I should live stream more. I don't know why I never did this before. I kind of thought maybe that nobody would be interested, but it seems like 92 people are interested. That's current, so maybe there's been more that have watched it. But yeah, this beats beating drinking on your own, and it's drawing everybody away from the news, which is good. If anything like huge happens while I'm live streaming and we all need to like go into hiding, let me know. So, because I don't want to read the news tonight. Landlocked. Where would you keep a boat landlocked? Build a lake. Oh no, I keep losing my place. Open Plotter videos will be coming because, like, I have a little bit of knowledge on computer stuff and mainly hardware stuff. Software is very new to me, so we'll be learning together, and we'll probably have Madison help me with that too. So yeah, the hardware attached on top, the Motessier is what I've got on the Raspberry Pi, which does all of the the barometric stuff. It's a guy in Catalonia called Selug who designed that, and he's like the guy who's doing OpenPlotter, which is like it's an open source chart plotter. It's an incredible piece of software actually. It's like it runs on Linux, and for me it's been plug and play so far. I have a 13-inch screen that's going to be mounted. I haven't put it on board because it's too dusty, but I have a 13-inch screen that's going to mount above the chart table, and it's going to do my charts. So I'll be able to chart plot on that, and it's fully open source as well, which is awesome. That will bring in barometric pressure, it'll bring in AIS, it'll bring in everything that I need onto that, and then that can run wirelessly to my tablet, so I won't have to have any wiring in the cockpit. I can just have a tablet charged up and sitting at the helm, copying what's on the display so that we can navigate from that. And if we're on a long passage, you don't need much in the way of navigation on the helm anyway. We'll probably have an AIS transponder which will do our heading and stuff like that, and a compass which we'll helm by. But for the most part, I think that's what we're hoping to do, and it's all going to be super low. It's all going to be super low. Leo is addressing the nation at 9 p.m. Leo Varadkar is addressing the nation at 9 p.m. He can address away because I just I don't know what's going to happen. I'm kind of scared. Errol Kennedy, the man himself, is here. The person that started all of this, kind of. He hates it when I blame him for all of this, but it's his fault. Errol taught me how to sail. He taught me how to be like Errol. Everyone should be more like Errol. Check out A Sailing Adventure on YouTube. Um, A Sailing Adventure, they're the guys that taught me how to sail. Errol and Kira, they're living in Toronto now. So make sure that you check them out and you can see the genesis of this whole thing. The reason that I'm here is Errol. He hates it when I blame him, but I'm still going to blame him. Patrick Lane is another good sailor. Patrick Lane is his videos are really good. He sails on his own out of La Rochelle, I think. Yeah, let me just reiterate Chasing Bubbles. If you don't watch Chasing Bubbles, I'm telling you, you're missing out. I'm catching up on the comments, lads. Let's get the comments going, because I'm catching up. In a while, you're just going to watch me drinking alone, in peace, in silence. The Feather Stream. The Feather Stream is damn good. I love my Feather Stream. Like, I haven't actually I haven't seen it since last February, so I'm hoping that it hasn't had any kind of electrolytic problems. But I can see it when there's a calm day. I can actually see it. The anode is working. Looks like it's working. The Feather Stream pushes an awful amount of water and does it both ways. I can stop the boat on, like, if I'm coming into a marine into a berth and I kind of cock it up a bit, I can give the engine reverse just one burst, and she'll just stop. And you can just move it. You can actually float her around just a little bit. It's amazing. It's actually incredible. Feather Stream has been really good. One of the best things about the Feather Stream actually has been dealing with Darglo Engineering over in the UK. I sent them the propeller actually that came. The propeller on the boat came off a boat that had sank, which the engine came with that and everything. So the propeller was sized to the engine and stuff like that. But the propeller had actually hit a rock. So one of the blades was like this. So Nick, before I bought the boat off him, he straightened the propeller and just put it into a box. And I sent that to Darglo Engineering, and they disassembled it. They did a full service on it, and they balanced the propeller, and it came back like new. It actually came back like new. So hopefully that answers the question on the Feather Stream. That's damn good. Errol Kennedy, I take no responsibility for Reese's actions. Why do you always say that? That was actually something we said all the way through college. I used to live with Errol. We were in the same room, and he took no responsibility for my actions. I'm not taking responsibility for your actions then, if that's the way you want to be. All right, what's up, my Corona buddies? A Germany boot Tortuga, a Germany on lockdown now. Shout out if you're actually. I'm curious, how many of you are actually on lockdown right now? As in, like, you're not allowed to leave your house unless you're going to get nappies or something, or beer, like the essentials. Let me know, because I think Germany's on lockdown, and Mr. Varadkar is apparently making a statement. He's addressing the nation right now, apparently, which could mean I'm not going to work tomorrow. Yeah, so that could be interesting. Let's see. My phone is hopping. I'm just going to check my messages on here, because there could be a question here as well. Let me see. Oh, there's way too many. Let's have a look. Yeah, I think that we're going to be panic buying toilet rolls again. Does anyone know what the story was with the panic buying? Does coronavirus make you shit yourself or something? I don't know. Like, maybe I should have bought loads of toilet roll. I only have a few rolls. That's kind of worrying. What if I shit myself? Anyway, I'm not reading the news because I'll get sad, and I'm having fun. Right, we've got more comments. Have I got enough room for a wine rack? I have a tank under there that could take 800 liters of wine if I needed to. But yes, there is this. Lads, the wine is definitely doing something. This is the alcohol locket. This is the alcohol locket, and yeah, I can probably carry at least 15 bottles of wine in that, which should last a few days. And then there's the bilge, which I'm planning on actually racking out for wine. And we can always replace the food with wine. It's not that big a deal. I'm just adding a little bit of petrol to my Coke. Right. Oh yeah, I see Leanna sailing. Yeah, the feather stream. Yeah, it's damn good. It's more like it just gives me that bit of confidence in a marina where I can literally like whip up the handbrake. Our island actually on lockdown. No, we're not on lockdown. Well, Varecca is addressing the nation right now. So currently the country is not on lockdown. The pubs are closed, which for Paddy's Day is a pretty big deal. You could say that we're actually taking it seriously. But yeah, I don't know. I don't know what's happening. Better check my yeah. Spain apparently Spain are on lockdown. Yeah, if you're in Spain, just stay safe. Like we're in some really unusual times, and the government's like generally, I would be kind of a little bit wary of the government and what they're trying to do. But the government at the moment, they're just trying to keep the economy going, and they're trying to keep people safe. Like no one wants anyone to be dying. So like if we put on lockdown, then respect the lockdown and just do it. What's a couple of months in someone's life is nothing. We'll be looking back on this in 3 or 4 years, going, "Wow, that was crazy," but at least we'll be okay. So, Germany is doing restaurants, bars, public events, so close enough to what we're doing at the moment, as far as I know. I think Spain, yeah, Spain are probably the most. Italy as well. Italy are having an awful time. This isn't whiskey, actually. This is rum. If you want a really good whiskey, Westcote whiskey is damn good stuff. Yeah, if the borders are closed, guys, it will be over soon if we listen to what we're being told to do. Vitamin or toilet rolls that taste good and are full of vitamins. Wim, what toilet rolls are you eating? I'm worried about Wim now. Wim, Wim, what's wrong with you? Why are you? Yeah, the schools are closed here as well, Greg. I think Romania suspended classes. Any more questions about the boat, by the way? Because I'm just talking. I'm losing people. I'm probably gonna have to call this soon, I think, because I'm running out of wine. Yeah, I'm out of comments. So, yeah, I think I might. If there are no more questions about the boat or anything else like that, then yeah, I think I might call it. Kind of curious about what's going on. Yeah, kind of curious about what's going on. One of the guys is watching. Is gonna. As long as you can see that he's watching. He's watching the live stream, and it's all cute. Thanks, Dan. It's probably gone by now, to be honest. Yeah, I think. What size propane bottle is he going to use? Good question. I don't know. I think. Yeah, well, I'm probably going to be ringing you about that when time comes. But I think that I'll probably get some fiberglass 5 litre or 10 litre fiberglass ones. I don't know. I think that might be what I do. Yeah. Okay. Look, I'm gonna call it a day. Might do another stream. Let's look. Everyone, just stay safe, right? And I'll try and do another stream in the next month. So let's just see how things go. Because if there is a general lockdown, I'm gonna want to do a lot more of these because I'll probably go crazy. I might even do a work live stream where I'm doing some sanding or something, and I'll live stream it and we can talk instead of me talking to myself. So scary times, guys. A little bit odd, but keep the chin up, and we'll all we'll work through all of this together. So, all right, guys. Bye.